15 minutes away from 9.
Oh, was that Old Spice guy? What? Really? Oh, yes, okay. I do accept your staring contest challenge. Okay. I will now begin my sexy stare.
Perhaps only works on video, that one. It is the new Old Spice commercial. You might remember the original, I'm on a Horse. Well, it's been rehashed, redone. To explain it to us is Vaughan Davis from tgf.co.nz and social media and aeroplanes. And he's actually joining us remotely today from New Plymouth. G'day there, Vaughan.
Hey man, how are you?
Good. Of course, we will explain why you're in New Plymouth, I guess, later on in the aeroplane segment of this show. But
Yes, we will.
yeah, but first up, tell us about he's still staring at me from this YouTube clip.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going. This is funny. This is an attempt to reinvigorate the Old Spice campaign, which kicked off last year and was a great success.
Yeah.
With Mustafa, and they brought in a different flavour of cheesecake. They brought in the sort of perennial male model stereotype Fabio, and put him head to head with Mustafa in a series of sometimes pretty cool and sometimes just a bit head shaking videos. It's a bit of fun.
Well, he's now brushing his hair.
Yeah. I mean, the steering competition one's funny. You got to watch the companion video of Mustafa, because he, as you'll see, he attempts to distract Fabio by lowering a hairbrush on a fishing line, which somehow magically goes into Fabio's video. And of course, there's nothing more attractive to a male model than a hairbrush.
So Mustafa does appear, but he's slightly unhappy that this other character's come in.
Yeah, he's rankled. I mean, it's not a new marketing thing. It goes back to the old M&Ms. Vote red, vote green. I see that. I think Watties has got a spaghetti versus beans thing going on at the moment. I mean, it's all down to personal preference, and I think it'll reinvigorate the brand. I think it'll be a bit of fun.
I mean, I still wonder though, and I think we talked about this when the first Old Spice commercial came out. Is it translating into sales?
Yeah, well, they said the first lot did. Maybe this is just a contrived attempt to take it into a different demographic. The older white female Fabio lovers, see if they buy a bit of Old Spice for their husbands.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and interestingly, it's a successful attempt at that sort of hoary old online chestnut, the viral video, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. In this case, I think it has.
It has worked, yeah. Yeah, I think I saw it flying around Twitter before the show. On to other, I guess New Zealand's equivalent, I suppose, would have to probably be in New Zealand and what they do. Rico is back once more.
Yeah, Rico off to spend some time on the Sky Couch with Mr. Hasselhoff. And this one didn't light my candle, but I see there's I can't see the viewer figures from here, but I think there's around 500,000 people have taken a look. In New Zealand, very sort of steadfastly and cleverly pursuing a strategy of getting celebrities in the ads who won't necessarily appeal to New Zealanders, although the Hoff, certainly does.
Yeah.
But will get overseas eyeballs. I mean, in New Zealand doesn't really give a shit if we fly with them or not. I'm sort of paraphrasing them there. We don't have that many choices. What they do care about is all those people in America and Europe and Asia, and which airline they choose. So they're putting people in that will resonate with those people. So Richard Simmons, we can take him and leave him. I think they've pulled the Richard Simmons fitness video from the airplanes. Not sure. But for overseas viewers, it's a killer. And,
is it?
And so is the Hoff. Yeah, apparently.
It'd be good to if they.
According to Rob Five.
I mean, they're going to say this, aren't they? But I would have thought that a lot of these views came from New Zealand, but could be wrong. I mean, the Snoop Dogg one, I don't know. It didn't really take off here, though, did it?
No, it didn't. And I saw Rob Five speak at something the other day. And,
yeah.
I forget the numbers, but they're very, very proud of the overseas viewer figures, and also the figures they're getting on networks outside YouTube. And they've got I think there's a Chinese one whose name escapes me, but was a particular success for them. So it's not, YouTube and New Zealand YouTube viewers are not the only fruit.
Does any of this stuff end up on traditional broadcasting channels?
No, it doesn't. Other than through news, and that was one of the big things that Air New Zealand was waving around, was the exposure that their Richard Simmons video was getting on mainstream news channels in the States. And I know that the dollar value of earned media that PR companies talk about is about the biggest lie there is. But,
there's a name for it. There's some kind of scales, because the film made it up.
Yeah, there's a multiplier or something.
Yeah.
Based on how much more we trust editorial content versus advertising content, but no one can agree on what that multiplier is. And I've seen PR lobbies come to blows over it. It's a discussion for another day. It's interesting.
No, it is an interesting discussion, because I'm just in a bit of inside ball. Like, let's say someone comes on my show, they're promoting something, an interesting book or whatever it be. I might get a call afterwards from a PR company saying, "Oh, so what's your advertising rate there at the station?" And they're not, of course, looking to advertise anything. They're just wanting to get a relative cost of and price of what that would have actually that promo would have cost.
Just trying to get the clipping,
get
the value. Wow. Yeah. But, of course, viral videos don't always go don't always go viral. Sorry, the new Plymouth Air is intoxicating, trust me. And I think Vodafone had experienced this with their Share Everything Day. And you'll remember, or you might not remember, I guess that's my point.
No, I don't.
About a month ago, they asked us New Zealanders, to share everything with them through a Twitter hashtag and through a Facebook page. Just say the most trivial things on what we were doing on that one certain day. I think it was the 8th of July. The idea being that they would amalgamate that content into what they are calling a short film.
Right.
It's an ad, baby. Not a dozen miles from Life in One Day.
The YouTube.
The YouTube movie was made about a year ago. And they put it together, they cut it, it was an okay thing. It's been online for a couple of weeks now, I think, and it's a grand total of about 500 views.
That's correct.
So you can't, asking an ad company to make a viral video is like, asking a musician to make a #1 hit. You can ask them to make a song, but, it's not necessarily going to go to the top of the charts. It's in the hands of the people, really.
Yeah. No, and that's the first I've heard of it. Never heard of it, didn't see it on the day. According to me, it never happened.
Yeah, well, we asked New Zealand, and the YouTube description has that sort of poisoned chalice that uses I think it uses the phrase "first ever" or "world first," which is a surefire sign, radio listeners, that the project was intended to be entered into advertising awards.
All right.
That phrase.
Well, that's ads and social media. On to aeroplanes, and the reason why you're currently in New Plymouth. Yeah,
well, TGF Aviation, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Goat Farm, has purchased its first aeroplane, and for the last week and a half, we've been trying to fly it north from Dunedin to Auckland, and we've got as far as New Plymouth. The weather has been diabolical.
So you got to Christchurch, and of course, then it snowed.
Yeah, well, we got to Christchurch, and then Wellingtonians, remember there was gale southeasterly through Cook Strait, which was just severe turbulence, and low cloud on the Kaikoura, so we couldn't take off. And then it snowed. We had a foot of snow. The aeroplane was just about buried. It was spectacular. Great photos though.
Yeah, I'm just checking out. It looks very lonely out there in the field. So that was at Christchurch Airport, yeah?
Yeah, Christchurch Airport over the far side. If you come in, if you're leaning to the south, the main terminal's off to the left of the runway, and on the right-hand side is the Aero Club, and very cool. They let you park there for free, which is quite a neat service. But the downside of that is, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So come snowplow time, Mr. Snowplow doesn't care too much about ploughing out the free parking lot. He's too busy ploughing out the rest of it. But I did discover that the aeroplane taxis very well on snow and ice.
Yeah. And you got some great pictures from the aeroplane looking over Christchurch to the Port Hills, and the whole place covered in snow. Really special.
Absolutely blanketed. It was spectacular.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful. I got some video too, but the files were all too big for Taranaki broadband.
But the interesting thing is that you are using an iPad.
Yeah, isn't it great? It's well, apparently it's officially you're not meant to, but it's for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, $50 gets you an iPad app that's basically equivalent to a huge moving map GPS that you might have in a Boeing 747. Absolutely spectacular. Just I just clipped the iPad onto the control column in the airplane, and I've been wending my way northward with that, which was handy yesterday because the weather into New Plymouth was a little bit worse than forecast. So we almost had the arm out the window, the white cane tapping ahead of us. It was,
wow.
It was pretty grim.
It was, so that's navigating without an horizon, yeah?
Oh yeah, the horizon. Yeah, well, I mean the airplane sadly at the moment is lacking its artificial horizon because the engineers in Dunedin took it out by mistake, even though there was nothing wrong with it.
Right.
And in the course of that, they broke it. So now there is something wrong with it. So I've got where the artificial horizon's meant to be, which is that sort of blue and black thing which tells you which way is up. There's just a bit of black cardboard.
Yeah. And
I should put a wee smiley face on it.
And for those watching the live stream or the YouTube video afterwards, I'm just currently looking at the iPad app with your current location there in New Plymouth, right there in the middle on the map.
Yeah, it's got me smack bang in the hotel. I'm actually looking out at the wind wand, which yesterday the wind wand was leaning across the road and tapping on my hotel window. It's an impressive piece of art.
All right, cool. Well, follow the progress. Isn't the plane got a blog as well?
Yeah, the plane has got a blog, flytgf.com for updates. There won't be any updates until we get back to Auckland. That'll hopefully be later this afternoon. So if you're in Auckland, especially West Auckland, we'll be flying over at about noon, I guess. White aeroplane, red wingtips, can't miss it.
Can't miss it. tgf.co.nz as well. Vaughan Davis on Twitter. Thanks very much, Vaughan.
Okay, see you later.
Time now here on Kiwi is